What's up, y'all? I said, what's up, y'all? Look at me when I'm talking to you, bro. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all, man. This is your boy Knockout Boxing 86 TV, and we in here. So check this out, y'all. Before we get going on our video, smash the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Share the video. Turn on your notifications. Follow me on Twitter at KOBoxing86 TV is the Twitter handle. Also, if you have a breakdown or a prediction you want me to do, knockoutboxing86 at yahoo.com is the email address. And last but not least, man, y'all check out our live shows. Live show every Wednesday night, so tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's where we talk about our hot topics in boxing and the biggest news in the sport, and we break it all down for you and give you my opinions on that. Friday nights, we do our live show as well, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's our breakdown and prediction live stream where we break down and predict all the upcoming fights for that week. And then on Sunday mornings, we do our recap show for all the big fights that happened that weekend. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network. We go live together at 9 a.m. to break down all the action from that weekend for you. But let's get to this video. So the point of this video is twofold, right? Number one, George Kambosos. There have been two potential opponents that have emerged as a favorite to fight for George Kambosos to fight next. I was reading some news today. Basically, he's trying to fight in May, and his top two opponents right now are Vasily Lomachencko and Devin Haney. Those are the top two right now that seem like the front runners to get the fight. Now, one of these writers, I believe his name is Sean Jones. I was reading his article, and he would have you believe that if Kambosos was to choose Devin Haney, it was because he feels like Devin Haney is the easier fight, right? And he makes multiple assertions that Vasily Lomachencko is far more talented than Devin Haney and therefore a more dangerous opponent than Devin Haney would be. I hold a completely different opinion. So this video will be twofold. First, why Lomachenko and Devin Haney have come to the forefront. Secondly, why I believe that Devin Haney is far more talented than Vasily Lomachencko. Yeah, I said it, and we're going to break it all down as to why. So first, to George Kambosos. Reading the articles and the research that I've done, is one key thing that I see that's really going into his decision, and what I've been telling y'all is whoever he fight, they got to come to Australia. And so far, when you think of the potential names, people have floated names out, like obviously Gervonta Davis, Vasily Lomachenko, Devin Haney. Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko are the only ones that have showed they're willing to come to Australia per Kambosos. That's what he's saying. He said it in this article right here. Let me find exactly. Here we go. My bad, y'all. He said it'll be a stadium fight in Sydney or Melbourne, Australia. We're in negotiations with both, and it'll be very exciting. I wouldn't be real to the crowd if I told them I'm coming back for an easy fight. What for? I'm coming for the big names, and we're already in negotiations with everybody. We've got to really let Australia know what's going on and how big this fight will be. This fight will be the biggest fight in Australian boxing history. And so that's the key, that both of these fighters, and he's trying to talk to both, he's driving the price up on both and negotiating with both, may the highest bidder win, right? That's a key factor, and I've been telling you guys that's a key factor. Kambosos is fighting in Australia. Look, these are all tough and dangerous fighters. He's a very confident guy. He's been confident this entire time, but he's also realistic. He knows how hard he has to work. He knows that these guys can fight, and it's a real possibility that he could lose to anybody you want to see him fight. If you want to see him fight Lomachenko, if you want to see him fight Devin Haney, if you want to see him fight Gervonta Davis, if you want to see him even fight somebody like Ryan Garcia, all those fighters have enough talent to where Kambosos, I could see him theoretically losing to any of those guys, bro, based on how good they are. You know what I mean? And their talent level. And what he does and doesn't do well. So, with that being the case, he's not wrong for wanting to fight in Australia. And so far, the biggest names that have showed they're willing to go are Lomachenko and Devin Haney. So that's why I believe that they're the front runner. Now, the writer goes on to assert that Vasily Lomachencko is far more superior and far more talented than Devin Haney. Top Rank has some of the best matchmakers in the business. And I'm here to tell you that Top Rank don't believe what he's saying. If Top Rank believed that Vasily Lomachencko was far more talented than Devin Haney, they'd have had him fighting Devin Haney in a little easy defense, right? You know, a little tune-up defense, right before going into a Teofimo Lopez fight instead of petitioning for him to become a franchise champion. If they believe that. So his own handlers don't believe what this writer is saying. But facts don't either. Let me ask y'all a question. If you got two athletes, one turns pro at 25 years old and the other one turns pro at 17, who's more talented? Isn't it better? Doesn't it show that you're far more talented at a far earlier age if you're able to turn pro earlier than another player? Like, or another athlete? Isn't that how it works? Right? Let me ask y'all another question. Vasily Lomachenko stayed an amateur fighter until he was 25 years old. So essentially, once he got to his 20s, he was a grown man fighter, beating up on amateur boxers, a lot of which were younger than him. Let me ask y'all something. Devin Haney, 23 years old. If he fought in the amateurs for as long as Vasily Lomachenko, what do y'all think that amateur record would be looking like? What if he was still an amateur boxer right now? Furthermore, who's more talented? A fighter that's a world champion by the age of 23 or a fighter that turned pro at 25? Who's more talented? The younger fighter with 30 fights undefeated or the older fighter whose 2 losses, one to a journeyman and one to another fighter who possibly could be a hype job? We got to see how Teofimo Lopez looks at 140, but who's more talented? Because I'm sorry, like, Devin Haney has fought plenty of guys on the level of Salido. None of them beat him, bro. And it's something to be said for, I'm younger than you, and I turned pro before you. I'm younger than you, and I was world champion. I've been a world champion before you ever even thought about turning pro. You were still fighting amateurs in the Olympics at the age that I was a world champion. So I think we get this notion because of, I guess, biases or because of who we root for, that a fighter's supremely more talented because they have more accolades. And accolades don't mean shit when it comes to talent, bro. Like, it just don't. You get your accolades based on the opportunities that are given to you or provided for you. Now, no discredit to Vasily Lomachenko because he had to take advantage of the opportunities that he was given. But Devin Haney hasn't been given those same opportunities to fight those same caliber of fighters. And when he has been given those opportunities, he defeated Jorge Linares. He just beat Jojo Diaz. So he's starting to build up. He's starting to build up a resume. And at the end of the day, let's see what he accomplishes by the time he's 33 years old. I'm just saying, like, accolades and your resume and all of that stuff, if you've had an opportunity to do it longer or you've been afforded better opportunities, that don't mean you're more talented. And I think that's where this writer is mistaken. I think that's where a lot of people are mistaken. If you just go off the eye test, Devin Haney's faster, he's longer, he's more athletic, and he's done a lot of things at the age that Vasily Lomachenko wasn't able to. And miss me with that. If he was good enough, he could have turned pro at 17 years old. Miss me with that Ukraine boxing system bullshit, bro. Why didn't he turn pro after the first gold medal? Devin Haney been a pro for damn near 7 years now. I'm sorry. If you good enough to go pro at 17, but the other fighter got to stay in the amateurs until they 25, who's more talented? Because you can say what you want. But I know this. Devin Haney's amateur record would be a lot more impressive than what it is if he had stayed around that long. Like, if he went on the Lomachencko timeline, he'd be in the amateurs right now, and he'd still have 2 more years to fight as an amateur. Now, y'all tell me. You ain't got to tell me, but really think about it. If that young man was still fighting in the amateurs, and he had 2 more years left in the amateurs, what y'all think his record would look like? Based on what you've seen for him as a professional, beating world-class elite level fighters already. Beating former multiple division world champions already. Beating guys like Jojo Diaz, whose only loss was to the longest reigning champion in the world right now, and Gary Russell. Putting guys like that on his resume as a professional, what y'all think he'd be doing as an amateur right now? But you expect me to believe that Vasily Lomachencko is more talented than that guy? Nah, bro. Nah, bro. But I know a way that we can find out. And it's very simple for me. This is what I think should happen. This is what I think should happen. Kambosos fight Devin Haney, and the winner of that fight throw the franchise belt in the garbage. While that's going on, give me Lomachencko versus Tank Davis. If Tank Davis don't want the smoke, if he don't want the fight, Lomachenko can sit around and wait for the winner. And then fight the winner. But in my world, I want to see Loma versus Tank Davis. And then let all the winners fight each other. Because what that'll do, we'll know who the most talented is. We'll know who the best is, the most talented, the undisputed. We'll know all of that shit. How about instead of us just going back and forth as fans on who's more talented, let's just see them fight. And if you're going to talk about who's more talented, you got to consider things like who's faster. Because that's all talent is. Talent ain't shit but athleticism. That's all it is. That's all it is. Who's more athletic? Who's more talented? If you were building a boxer, whose raw skill set would you start with to build a boxer? It'd be Devin Haney over Lomachenko all day. I argue Devin Haney is more talented than Lomachenko, and the shit ain't even close. And if you got an issue with that, hey, man, put your opinion down in the comment section. Let me know. Let me know. But that's what I think. You got to explain to me how the more talented fighter took longer to turn pro. You got to explain to me how the more talented fighter took longer to become world champion. You got to explain to me how one guy was already a world champion at the age of 23 and the other guy couldn't turn pro until 2 years later. You got to explain that to me. You got to explain to me how the younger fighter got 30 fights while the more talented fighter got 16 fights and he got 2 losses already and this other guy over here undefeated. You got to explain these types of things to me, man, to get me to understand. And you got to explain to me what's more likely. That Devin Haney could have stayed an amateur. That he could have stayed an amateur from 17 years old till now and been just as successful as Vasily Lomachencko. Is that more likely? Or is it more likely that Lomachenko could have turned pro as a 17-year-old and been as successful as Devin Haney from the ages of 17 to 23? Because I tell you what I think is more likely. I think it's more likely that Devin Haney would have just as much, if not more, amateur success had he stayed amateur as long as Vasily Lomachencko. And I think that Vasily Lomachenko, with his small stature, his smaller frame, I don't think he was ready or able to turn pro at 17 years old. At 25 years old, he was losing to guys like Salido. I'm sorry, bro. That matters. At 25, 26 years old, in the prime of his career, he's losing to guys like Salido, bro. I don't care what nothing else that you say. Devin Haney ain't losing to somebody with the caliber of Salido when he 25, 26, 27 years old, bro. He dog walking them. They not winning around. You know it and I know it. Vasily Lomachenko is a very good fighter. He's a multiple division champion. He done good against Kome. He did good against Nakatani. He's worked his way back up to the top. He does deserve a title shot soon. I wouldn't be mad at Kambosos fighting either Lomachenko or Devin Haney. I prefer Devin Haney, but I wouldn't shit on a Lomachenko fight because both of those are fights where the best fighters in the division are fighting each other, so I'm not going to shit on it. Still, the number one fight for me is Devin Haney and Kambosos because it clears up undisputed. That's the fight I want the most. But I'm not going to come up here and get mad if we get Kambosos Lomachenko. That's going to be a great fight, definitely worth watching. But we're not going to do is disrespect Devin Haney and just acting like Vasily Lomachencko is astronomically more talented than him, bro. We're not going to do that shit. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment down below, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, share the video, turn on the notifications. Follow me on Twitter at KOBoxing86TV. Also, if you got a breakdown or prediction you want me to do, knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com is the email address. Last but not least, live shows every Wednesday night, 7:30, every Friday night, 7:30, and every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network. The Wednesday shows is where we discuss the hottest topic in boxing. The Friday shows is where we break down and predict all the upcoming fights for that week. And the Sunday shows is where we recap all the big fights and let you know what happened, who won, why they won, and what to expect next. But I appreciate y'all watching the video. Enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, we out of here. Peace, y'all.